What's good? This is Okirike. I'm from Savannah, Georgia, and I'm here on Industry's Most Wanted.
My medicine, yeah. I feel the fever. That's when I need you. I swear those hips and thighs get me high like sativa. I'm a believer. I need your love like IV through the needle. I'm on bed rest, I won't rest, rather please you. You're my O2, need a breather.
Hey, what's going on, man? It is your girl, TampaMystic, and we are live. Where we at?
Industry's Most Wanted.
I got my family in the building today. Okirike, what is going on? How you doing?
What's good?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you know, we go back like 4 flats.
Man, facts, like way, GME days, you and Regina coming out and supporting the movement. But thank you for being here today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
100%. We got a lot to talk about, so we're going to dive on in. Right. You're originally from Savannah, Georgia.
Well, I grew up in Savannah, Georgia. I'm originally from Nigeria.
You're originally from Nigeria. Correct. Yeah. So let's get that right. Originally from Nigeria, because your name is Okirike.
Yes, that is correct.
But grew up in Savannah.
Yeah.
You know, just briefly take us through growing up in Savannah. What was that like for you?
Oh man, growing up in Savannah. Well, a lot of people don't know when I first traveled here. Came here from Nigeria. I was 3 years old. We first lived in Ohio. Okay, so we lived in Cincinnati and Dayton. Cincinnati was the majority of like elementary school for me. Then I stayed in Dayton for about a couple of years before coming down to Savannah, Georgia. I actually went home, and when I say home, I'm referring to Nigeria. I went home around age 13. Yeah. And then I came upon my return. That's when we moved down to Savannah, Georgia. So,
got it. Understood. Yeah. And you came to the A to pursue your career in like music, film, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia. It's a smaller town, of course, so I always felt like, you know, resources were limited, you know, opportunities were limited, and that if I really wanted to, you know, pursue what I wanted to pursue, then Atlanta would be a good move for me. My first time living in Atlanta was being here in Atlanta was in college. So I went to Georgia Tech for a couple of semesters before I decided that, well, I actually flunked out of Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying? I actually flunked out of Georgia Tech, and then, you know, they gave me an opportunity to return there, and I knew that I wanted to be in Atlanta, but I just knew I wanted to do something different than what I was studying. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I loved computers, and that's what I was going to school for, I just wasn't in the mode where I just want to sit around and build computers all day. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something with my creativity. So I kind of just lost interest and started, you know, deviating actually towards the music. Yeah. And that's when I just decided to go ahead and pursue music.
There's nothing wrong with that. I really had a very similar, I started going to school, same thing for computers way back in the day, because I thought back then that would be the future, which I'm learning now that it's really not the future, because AI is kind of taking over a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
So I'm a college dropout, you know what I'm saying? You know, not that I'm saying I'm proud of it, but we're making it work. We're making it do what it do.
Yeah, because I actually started messing with computers when I was young, like when I was 11 years old, 10 or 11 years old. I don't know if anybody remembers, but it was this science magazine out. It was called 3-2-1 Contact. And in the back of the magazine, they had a computer programming language called BASIC. And I would learn the language, and I would create my own computer programs with it. So I designed a video game just based off of reading that. So, you know, I had that knack for computers. So that's what one of the things that led me to want to go into it in college. But, you know, my taste just evolved over time, you know, and I just started growing into more just wanting to be creative in different ways than just being the person. You know, shout out to the people who behind and building the technology and doing all that, you know what I'm saying, so that we could use it to be creative. You know what I'm saying? But I just definitely want to be on the side of being creative.
Absolutely. And speaking of being creative, you're also a phenomenal tattoo artist. All these tats right here, from this guy right here, this one right here. You know, briefly touch on that as well. What got you into that?
Oh man, tattooing was something that I got into. Actually, a friend of mine suggested it because I always had the talent to draw. So, you know, I used to love to draw all the time, and you know, all throughout school. In fact, when I was younger in middle school, I thought I wanted to be a comic book artist. So I would draw comic books all the time, but I just didn't know the steps of how to get it published, and you nowadays things are a lot different because we have the internet, we have great access. If anything you creative that you could come up with, you could put out.
Yeah.
But back then you had to go through the gatekeeper. So you would have had to go through whether it was Marvel Comics or Image Comics and things like that. But I had a lot of stuff that I drew, and then that was just something that I was always known for all throughout school, just being real creative in that way. So people knew that about me. And when the opportunity came, one of my friends suggested it. And I tried it out, and it just went like crazy. Like the clientele just went crazy, it just exploded. You know what I'm saying? So it was more something that destiny led me to. So, yeah. Because
I have seen some of your portraits that you have drawn, and they are honestly probably the best I've ever seen.
Man, appreciate
amazing work. And for you to turn that into like where now a person is kind of like your canvas per se.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was only God, that led me to that because, for one, I had just left college. So, and two, pursuing your dreams, I never wanted to be a broke artist or a struggling artist or a starving artist. You know what I'm saying? So it gave me something that I was able to do, from like an entrepreneur standpoint, at my own schedule, at my own pace, and earn money doing that. And I was able to use that and invest that in the other things that I was doing. So
I think that's the best way when, like you said, you can do it at your own pace, on your own schedule, on your own time.
Absolutely.
That is like the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into, also with your music and film. So you have this new single called Medicine that's out right now.
Yes.
What a great song. I listened to it multiple times. And one thing I love about Okirike, y'all, is that he brings so many different types of vibes when it comes to your music. Like I've heard so many different vibes, and this one somewhat brought somewhat of a Caribbean sexy vibe to it. Is what I got from it. Tell us about the process behind it. What was your idea for it?
Oh man, I actually did this song probably about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did it like 2 years ago, and I just had it sitting like on a hard drive. And like at the time that I did it, I guess I just wasn't that confident in the song. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of had it sitting there. I had a lot of other things going on. I was definitely working a lot on film.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was something to me where I actually was kind of going back and forth with myself. You know what I'm saying? As far as, okay, you have a lot of people that tell you should stick to one thing. And even though I knew I had the talent to do a lot of different things, sometimes I do feel like, you really got to zero in and focus on one thing, to make it successful. But at the same time, when I'm deep into this one thing, I still have this passion for this other thing that I feel like I'm neglecting. So it's kind of hard. That's kind of like the gift and the curse of having multiple talents. You know what I'm saying? If it was just one thing that I know, okay, this is my ability, I could focus on this and push towards this, and that's it. But actually the beautiful thing about film though, and that's the one thing that I love about film, is that it encompasses so many, of my different talents. You know what I'm saying? So music is involved in film.
Yes.
Everything art is involved in film. Film is like one big canvas where so many different things that you could pull into it. That's definitely the challenge that I faced when I was doing it. But I got to a point where it's like, the ball started rolling a little more with the film. I started getting more of a handle, started getting a better process, started getting a better team. And that's one of the things that you learn as an entrepreneur. Having a team is very, very important.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're trying to do everything yourself, then you don't have time to do a lot of different things. You have to focus in on that, the different facets of what you're doing. But when you have a team, that kind of frees you up to be a little more flexible, a little more fluid, a little more fluent. So that's kind of what brought me back to doing the music. And I also like to move a lot off of impulse. So I was working out one morning, and then I was going through the hard drive, and I heard the song, and I was like, man, how did I sleep on a song like this? You know what I'm saying? I just heard it in a whole different light.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's timing.
Yes.
Sometimes the seeds are planted ahead of time. And then when that time really comes, that's when you really have that spark to really do that. And, you know, in this season, in this time, it just felt like the right time to really not just do that song, but to do that kind of music. You know what I'm saying? So
makes perfect sense, because like you said, it's like planting a seed. It takes a while before you see a beautiful flower blossom from it. So it may be the same with music. You plant that seed, but it's going to take a while before you see the beautifulness in that song.
Absolutely.
And believe in it yourself. And that's exactly what happened for you.
Absolutely. Because, you know, sometimes when you get in your creative zone, you just in that zone and you just knocking out music, and you really not really, you know, understanding what you're creating.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You're not really, until you really sit back and really listen to what you're creating, you're not getting the full, you know, aspect. Because sometimes when you're in your creativity, well, I'm not even gonna say sometimes, just being in your creativity is almost like you're channeling something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're out of your body. You know what I'm saying? You just allowing the creativity to flow and pour through you. It's not a conscious thing. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you write things that you don't even consciously, you know, think it through,
right,
until you go back and really listen to it. So that was one of the songs that when I went back and listened to it, I said, damn, you know, you really got something here, you know. So, and when I got around to really want to explore music, I felt like, okay, this time I'm kind of, as far as marketing and branding, I want to stay in a certain lane.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I always wanted to be in a lane that you know, I like, and that I'm not limited in. So this is a lane that I feel like I don't have to be limited in, you know what I'm saying, as far as like what I talk about, you know, just the different vibes that you bring, you know what I'm saying, is just such a huge spectrum, you know, within this realm. So
I agree. I feel like it's wide open for that lane for you. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Because you could talk about the struggle. You could talk about love. You could talk about all these different things, and it feels natural. It doesn't feel like you're being, you know, cheesy. It doesn't feel like you're being, you know, it feels good. You know what I'm saying? And it just like, just the energy of it to me, and just the spirit of it is very uplifting. And that's just kind of a space where I'm at, you know, just me personally. So, and
I feel like it's appropriate for everybody. You know, there's some music that comes out here that obviously isn't appropriate for everybody. I feel like the lane that you're in, it could be played anywhere, anytime, and it's going to be appropriate for that situation, that location.
Absolutely.
Makes you more marketable.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things, you know, is like, you always got to think big.
Yes.
You know, you always got to think big, and it's easy to just go with the flow of what you see in your current environment, what's going on, what everybody's doing in your current environment. But just to think on a larger scale, and to think, you know, from a longevity standpoint, and, you know, what this could be, you know, then that kind of, you know, puts you in a different mindset. So
absolutely, because, you know, truth be told, and it's not to throw shade at anybody out there, but there's a lot of artists, because they somewhat box themselves in, they get viral and famous on social media, but they can't sell out a venue, and it's because it's not appropriate for maybe that type of. It's cool for the social media because you got all the youngins on there that want to hear all the profanity and the drugs and this, that, and the third. But when it comes to like selling out venues, they can't do it.
Absolutely.
You know, I feel like you're the artist that's gonna be able to do both.
I want to touch the world, you know, and that's what the melodies and the harmonies and the rhythm of this type of music, to me, feel like it does. You know, it just reaches across barriers.
Absolutely. Is medicine going to lead up to a full body of work, like a project album?
Absolutely. When
can we anticipate that?
Man, I'm working on it now.
Okay.
So it depends on when I get enough, you know, a body of music that I'm satisfied with, then
Understood.
I'll go ahead and do that.
Because you're a busy guy. You're also 3 films in right now as a director and a producer.
Yes.
How did the journey into filmmaking begin? Because I remember, let's take it back. I remember a conversation we had. In fact, I think you were doing this you're doing this tattoo for me. And you were expressing to me that you wanted to, you know, really dive in, because it's always been something you were looking at.
Yeah.
You know, what made you really start and push you over the edge, say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make this first film, which is called Out on a Limb.
Man, it was you know, destiny had a lot to do with it. You know, fate had a lot to do with it. But you know, I always had an interest in film.
Yeah.
You know, and I always felt like, you know, once I reach a certain level, then I would transition over into film. As far as just being an actor.
Yeah.
I could never have imagined as far as being a director and a writer and things like that. But I was like, okay, once people are familiar with who I am as an artist, then I could go over here and, start doing these acting roles, and just the familiarity from the music would help land those roles as far as, being on the film side. So that was always my thought process. And just right around in 2020, I just got to the point within the music that I just felt like it was hitting a wall,
Yeah.
I just felt like I just couldn't get past a certain wall, and it was very discouraging. So, the pandemic came and things just took off for me, just financially. And I just had the opportunity, what do I do with this financial blessing? What do I do with it? What do I invest in? Because that's always my thought process as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What can I put this money into that's going to, bring some sort of residual income, or just, take things to the next level.
Yeah.
And for me, it became film. Because at the time that, like I said, I felt like, the music was hitting a wall. That's when I started saying, I don't need to wait for something to happen here to try to pursue something over there.
Facts.
So at that point, I started, going in to auditions and doing extra roles and things like that, and just started trying to, get myself familiar, with the film realm in general.
Yeah.
But even that, was kind of a rough road for me, because I just didn't have the information to really understand, okay, how do I really position myself in this in a way that is going to get me noticed.
Yes.
So I was jumping into this as definitely just being part of the crowd, being part of and also being an outsider.
Yeah.
So my brain thinking I was actually in a line auditioning for it was BMF actually, and and the line was crazy, and somebody came up to there with a script, and that's when the light bulb came on to me to write a script myself, because I've always been a great writer, so, and I always want to explore every opportunity as far as the talents that I've been blessed with. So something comes to my attention that I haven't done, but I have the talent to do, I want to at least be able to say that I did it. So that's what led me to write the script. And once I finished writing the script, a friend of mine was actually put out a post on Instagram, and that's God's timing. That's how God works. He put out a post on Instagram about wanting to do a movie. So I let him hear the script, and he convinced me that it was possible, because as an outsider, I didn't know that the steps that it took, to bring something from a written document to actually a motion picture. And that's where, that kind of shows me how, mentors are important, and just people, who have been down the road are important, to really encourage people. I've never had one, but just seeing that, I could definitely understand, how that could play a pivotal role in getting people to the next level. But once the project started, once he convinced me to that it was possible to do that, and I was like, hey, he must know what he's talking about. So we kind of dove head first into that, and when we dove head first into that, I still kind of ended up in a position where I had to figure a whole lot of things out. But it's like once you're in it, you got to see your way through it.
You got to see your way through it. And something like this, it wasn't like, God put me in a position where I couldn't back out, because it wasn't just me, and it wasn't just about me. So got all these other people involved.
Exactly. If I was just doing, if it was just the music, and I got discouraged, and I could just quit, and it's nobody but me quitting. But in the process of this film, I had these actors, I had all these people who were involved in this project, who I didn't just want to see the success for me, I wanted to see the success for them. Yeah. Because that was one of the things that I actually love about the film world, is just putting people, having a platform to put people in that spotlight that hopefully can help elevate them to the next level. So it's like, I just couldn't quit for them. I couldn't, be like, hey, I know I had y'all doing this movie. Y'all done put in y'all time. Y'all done learned these lines. Y'all done came and shot, but you know, we just gotta wrap it. You know what I'm saying? So I really just had to keep pushing forward and seeing that all the way through.
And you came out the gate with a couple heavy hitters, you know, Jamal Woolard and Trey Chaney,
Absolutely.
and you know, like came out swinging out the gate. So it's like you had to see it, and you did, and it came out very successful. The movie premiere was beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, you know, it's just each time things just level up from there. So then, of course, your second film, Deadly Attraction, which is out now on the streaming platforms. How did you approach that film a little bit differently than you did the first one?
It just more confidence.
Yeah.
You know, just knowing the process, knowing what needed to be done, and having a better idea of how to structure a movie. You know, saying the things that would, you know, captivate an audience, how to hook an audience, how to develop the story, how to build the suspense, how to, you know, put a twist into it. You know, kind of just the different things that takes the audience on that ride. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things that helps me be great in the film lane, is because I always put myself in the shoes of the audience. So I always want to put things in there that kind of throw them off or get them excited or give them these, you know, the scares, or kind of get them nervous, or just take them on a whole emotional ride. And I enjoy that.
I feel like you can never go wrong with like a good thriller type movie that has twists and turns in it. And
that's I love those.
I do too, because like like most women, I'm a crime junkie. I watch all the crime shows and the first 48s and this, that. And so when I was seeing that movie, it really drew me in, because those are the type of movies that I seek to watch.
Yeah.
Now you got another one that you are just wrapping up with everything called Vanished.
Yes, correct.
Do you typically have your next film in mind when you're working on the one that you're working on? Like when you were working on Deadly Attraction, did you have Vanished in mind?
Man, I got so many films written. So it's like the you know, they say it's when preparation meets opportunity. So I'm already prepared.
Yes.
So when the opportunities present themselves, you know, I'm ready to go. So Deadly Attraction, I wrote that, and the opportunity presented itself to finish that. But for Vanish, I actually didn't write the film. Somebody reached out to me, you know, about producing the film for them.
Okay.
You know, so the writer of Vanish. Yeah, yes. The writer of Vanish, her name is Audra Nicole. You know what I'm saying? She wrote a very amazing script, a real dope script, and I was brought on board to direct and produce the film. Yeah.
When can we anticipate the release of Vanished?
Man, I don't know just yet. It's still early to know. It's soon though. It's coming soon. So we're in the final stages of post-production. So, you know, I never like to you know, give any projections until the film is completely finished and turned in, and we know from the distributor when it's going to drop. So
did it put a little bit more pressure on you knowing that you were doing it for someone else versus yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. Not well, I wouldn't say it's pressure, because, you know, I am familiar with the process, but it definitely makes it more challenging, because you can have in your mind, you know, certain things, but it's not just about what you have in your mind, because you have this other creative mind that came up with this great idea, you know, and they have their ideas about how they want this to look and how they want this to come across. So it kind of is more of a collaboration at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and you know, that kind of makes it, to me, that kind of makes it even more of a beautiful thing.
Yes.
You know, when you're collaborating and you're able to, you know, help bring somebody's vision to reality.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the name of your film production company is Real Rebel Films.
Yes.
So it's safe to say, now that I know Vanished is you filmed for, you know, another creator, that you are open to working with other script writers, film writers, I guess that's what you call it. How many can you take on at a time? Is it one at a time?
I try to do one at a time, because just want to be able to give your undivided attention to what you're doing. So you definitely want to film one at a time, but there's so many different stages within production that's involved in production. You have the development stage, you have the actual pre-production stage, then you have production, then you have post-production. So if I'm in production with a certain project that's going out on set and filming every day, I'm not going to want to be doing another project during that particular phase of the project. But if we're in post-production, you know, and a lot of the team is involved, as far as, you know, we have another editor, we have somebody else doing these things, and I'm just kind of doing the quality control, then it's okay for me to be in pre-production for another project, or even in production for another project.
Makes sense. That's where the team comes into place to really help you.
Yes, absolutely.
That way there's no downtime ever.
Yes.
Is it somewhat challenging when it comes to filming in regards to everybody's schedule, getting everybody on the same page to be able to film on the same days? Has that ever been a challenge for you guys?
It was more of a challenge in the first film because we was kind of running and gunning it. You know, when we didn't have a set, you know, days that we were shooting. It was just like, okay, let's try for this day for this next scene, and then we'll reach out to everybody. Hey, are you available? Hey, are you available? And the day that the most people that we could get in, or that everybody was available, then we set that day. So we was kind of doing it as we went along. But now, even starting with Deadly Attraction, you know, we have, okay, these are the 10 days that we're filming.
Yeah.
So this is already arranged in advance. So we already checked the people who we're hiring to be in this movie to make sure that they're available those days. And then once we start rolling, we start rolling. That's
a learning process. You learn from the first one, okay, this time we're going to make sure ahead of time that they're available on these dates.
Yes, correct.
So for somebody, you know, bringing a film to you, and I know it can totally vary, but what would be on the low end versus high end filming time wise, how long it's going to take you if it's all done here, like, you know, in the Atlanta area?
We usually like to keep it around between 8 to 13 days.
Okay, that's not bad.
So 10 mostly, but you know, certain films may be able to be done faster. Certain films are going to take longer.
Got you. Understood. Any advice that you would offer, like artists out here who are looking to expand their creativity into other industries like you did?
Just do it.
Yeah.
For real. Just do it, man. Never keep yourself in a box. I think Kevin Hart said at one time that if he had just stuck to one thing, then once that one thing wasn't moving, he would have been stuck.
Yes.
So never just keep yourself stuck in one box. You know, if you have the talent to do other things and abilities to do other things, always explore those things, because that's a lot of times that's what's going to keep you afloat. So when this is slow, then this is moving. And when this is slow, then this is moving. So.
Absolutely. That is so important. That's key, because I talk about everything is seasonal. There are
absolutely.
some things that are slower in the summertime, but then they're popping in the winter and vice versa.
Exactly. And nothing lasts forever. So even when you know, a lot of times when you get in that zone where things are popping for you in a certain lane, you just, you know, you get under the illusion that it's always going to be like that. But nothing, you know, lasts forever. Everything in life just flows in seasons. So in that season, while those things are going good, you need to be preparing for the next season, preparing for when things may not be going as well in that season. You know, building those different connections and those different reserves, and just starting to plan things. Because, you know, it's always good to start planning things even when it's not time to actually execute that thing, so that you have those plans in place when the opportunity presents itself.
I couldn't agree more, because like when I first came here, you know, I was doing artist showcases. I got to where I was doing them twice a week. Now I don't even do it anymore. I've retired from it because it ran its course, you know, like it did its thing. I enjoyed it, but now I have no desire. Now I'm like really focused on this and my radio station, but I'm also thinking about what is next for me, because realistically, I don't want to be 60 still doing this, you know, like just being honest. I love it, but I'm thinking about those next moves. So you always have to plan ahead of time.
Absolutely.
It's like chess, right?
Absolutely.
So you've said that, you know, manifestation, dream, you know, betting on yourself is really, really important to you. What does that look like on a daily for you?
Oh, man. One thing that it looks like is always knowing, you know, where you're going.
Yes.
Knowing where you're headed. You know, that's one thing that's going to save you as you experience life's ups and downs. You know, it's always knowing where you're headed. So that's really what it looks like. Just knowing where you're headed, and no matter what things look like, just knowing in your heart, you know, that this process is going to achieve those results that I'm looking for. Because a lot of people don't understand what the process of success looks like. And that was one of the things that I didn't understand early, what the process of success looks like. The process of success looks like getting 1, 2, 3 likes on a post. The process of success looks like, you know, people doubting you, people laughing at you, people thinking that telling you that it's not going to work. That's what the process of success looks like. You know, you talk to anybody who has really achieved that next level of success, and they have these stories.
Yeah.
You know, they have these stories of being rejected. They have these stories of people telling them no. They have these stories of putting out content and putting out material and nobody caring. No, and we get it misconstrued that's not how success looks like, but that's how success looks like. So a lot of people, when those things happen to them, that's when they get discouraged.
Yes.
When really that's when they should smile like, hey, I'm in elite company now. You know, everybody went through this. You know what I'm saying? All the people who I look up to that are successful now, whether it be, you know, the Jay-Z's or the Tyler Perry's, everybody went through this. So you're an elite company. You know what I'm saying? So when you do something and you put your heart into it, you know, and you really feel like you're bringing something beautiful to this world, whether it's received or not, even if it's not received, understand that you're an elite company and just keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing. You just have to smile knowing where you're headed, knowing that this is part of the process. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that eventually it's going to get to the point where those same people really see that vision of what you're trying to put forward.
Absolutely. You have to focus on what's ahead, not the people back here who are not supporting you, because I think something you and I both learned is we can't please everybody, nor should we try to. I used to be try to be a people pleaser.
Absolutely.
Now it's like tunnel vision,
Absolutely.
Focused, because like you said, eventually they're either going to get on board, and if they're not, that's cool too.
Absolutely.
We keep pushing, most definitely. This next question might be a little hard, but I'm going to need a truthful answer.
Oh, man.
Music first or film first? What hits harder with your heart these days?
Man. You know, music was my first love. So it definitely is something that will always be a part of me, that I will always want to do no matter what. I love film for the things that it brings that music doesn't bring. You know, music is, for me, is kind of self-centered, you know, and you have to be self-centered because, you know, you're well, not necessarily self-centered, because, you know, I create music for people, to inspire people, but as an artist you have to market yourself. You know, but in film it's not about you, it's about the project, you know, and about everyone involved in the project. So, you know, there's a different level of fulfillment, and there's a different level of gratification that you get from helping other people, you know, from doing something or hyping something up that will benefit, you know, more than just yourself. Yeah. So that's one thing that film does bring, and it still kind of blows my mind anyway, just from being able to write something and then having people, you know, acting out what you wrote and bringing these characters to life, you know, and going from that to going to the screen, you know what I'm saying, and watching that. So that's a magic that I will never get tired of, and music is something that I will never get tired of. So
it's kind of equal.
I'm just kind of stuck in both lanes.
Because they both do something a little bit different for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So makes perfect sense. So the single Medicine is out now. Is it going to be in a film coming up? Can we anticipate that?
Yeah. But I'm definitely gonna put it where it fits.
Oh, understood.
It's not gonna be one of those things where it just like, oh, it's a crime scene, and then you know what I'm saying? It's like just to force it in there to be in there. You know what I'm saying? But I do try to now make music that is more, you know, more vibe oriented, so that you can use it in a film. So
maybe we can anticipate like a rom-com or something from you.
I already wrote one. I'm ready.
I feel like that song would fit perfect in a rom-com.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I wrote a great one. I can't give away the title, but
understood.
I'm excited about it. Yeah.
So anybody wants to keep up with your journey, give them your personal social media and of course your film production company social media.
Okay, the personal social media is at Okirike, and that's on all social medias, and I'm gonna spell it for you, is at OKIRIKE. And if you want to follow our film company, is Real Rebel Films, but I'm gonna spell that for you too, because we spell real, you know, different. So it's REEL. So it's at REEL Films, and you can follow our Instagram for that's anybody who's interested in just following our film, or interested in auditions, or interested in being a part of what we're doing and building over there, you follow that for updates, for casting calls, for anything like that. So
definitely. Okirike, who do you want to give thanks to that's really just been loving you and supporting you through your journey?
Man, well, first of all, I want to give thanks to God.
Yeah.
Cause just going through a lot of things that I went through just recently, even losing my sister, just being able to lean into God was the only thing that really got me through those things.
Understood.
So it's like,
I'm sorry to hear that too.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, things that the weight of it was supposed to, just really crush me and really put me in a place, just a really dark place, just really just leaning into my faith is what's been able to get me through those things. So I definitely want to give all acknowledgement and all praise to God.
Absolutely. Yeah. I completely understand. And I don't know if I even knew that your sister passed away. So my condolences to you.
I appreciate it.
Understood. Last question.
Industry.
Where we at?
Most wanted.
Tell everybody what makes Okirike Real Rebel Films the industry's most wanted.
Man, just productive. You're gonna get productivity from us. Definitely, you're definitely gonna get good energy from us. You're definitely gonna get just motivation from us. You're definitely gonna get positive energy, and just really one of my goals is just to really help people to really understand the power that's within them, to really believe in themselves, and to really push, towards achieving the things that they want in life. And hopefully just the whole brand is something that encompasses that.
100%. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to do this a million more times.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We out of here, y'all.
All right.
I'm a believer. I need your love like I V through the needle. I'm on bed rest, I won't rest, rather please you. You're my O2, need a breather.